What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode on my podcast. So, not just I don't want to just say this year, but because I don't think this year has been the year of comebacks. However, the last month and a half has been insane. You got CM Punk coming back, you got Randy Orton coming back, both on the same night, by the way. And on top of that, now you also got AJ Styles back. So I feel like recently the what can you call them, the wrestling return gods have been good to us over the last month and a half or so. So going to be very interesting to see, especially now with the year coming to an end, since the beginning of the next year, or usually the beginning of the year, is always like the WrestleMania season. So having these three big guys back, it's going to be very interesting to see how WrestleMania is going to work out, and not just WrestleMania, but also the Royal Rumble. Probably especially the Royal Rumble, because it's only one Royal Rumble, only one winner, and two titles to challenge for, which granted, like, they're kind of already portraying like they're going to have a CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for WrestleMania. Now, the biggest debate about that specifically has been, which night are they going to main event? Are they going to main event night one or night two? A lot of people are debating that Seth Rollins and CM Punk should be main eventing night two of WrestleMania. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one I'd rather have. And to be honest, I'm not sure whether I care too much which of the two championship matches is going to be the main event. However, I will say this: we do have a second main championship that was introduced this year, the World Heavyweight Championship, of course. Seth Rollins being the inaugural champion of that, and obviously doing a phenomenal job, and doing exactly what he's been saying, being a fighting champion, being there. And of course he has been week in, week out, at pay-per-views, at house shows. He's been there, just like he said. With that being said, I for whatever reason, I still feel that creative is not doing their best job in pushing that title and promoting that title, because it still feels like they're making Roman Reigns and the WWE Undisputed Championship, they're making it feel like it's still more than the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, realistically, obviously they're supposed to be on the same level, right? They're supposed to be, one is SmackDown, one is Raw, same level. There's no difference. However, with the lack of appearances by Roman Reigns, they always make it seem a lot more special when he shows up, because obviously he's not there often. So when he's there, they make a big deal about it. They announce it the week prior on SmackDown, like, hey, next week, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, will return next week on SmackDown. And they make this big thing. The last couple times they had him open the show, of course, making his entrance pretty big, and, just it always makes it feel like they're trying to push him to be the bigger champion of the two. Now, whether it's true or not, of course, I don't know what the agenda is necessarily. However, this is just me looking in from the outside and what I think is going on there. So my issue with that is that they specifically created the World Heavyweight Championship because of the lack of appearances of Roman Reigns, which is also why I think he's going to be champion for quite some time. Like, I don't think he's going to get dethroned at WrestleMania because they brought back a second big championship. So, with that being said, is Cody Rhodes going to challenge him at WrestleMania? More than likely. However, let's rewind a little bit, because yesterday on SmackDown there has been quite a development, if you could say so. Randy Orton, to no surprise, of course, everyone knew that this was going to come at some point. However, for the Royal Rumble, Randy Orton challenged Roman Reigns officially last night to a WWE Undisputed Championship match at the Royal Rumble. Now, Roman Reigns did decline because he said that Randy Orton didn't deserve it. He just came back. He needs to get in back of the line. Yada, yada, yada. Whatever the case may be, right? Sure. Yeah, I mean, realistically, yeah, kind of has to get back in the line. But then again, come on, it's Randy Orton. Like, let's be real now. So I think regardless of whatever Roman said and thinks, it's going to happen. And it's probably going to happen for Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I don't think Randy's going to win it. So it'll just be another win for Roman Reigns to move up to WrestleMania as the champion. So, and this is another thing. I don't think they're going to let Roman Reigns lose the championship at any other event besides WrestleMania. And I also just don't think that Randy Orton is going to lose at this WrestleMania. Now, here's why I say this. Roman Reigns is less than a year away to surpass Hulk Hogan's first WWE Championship reign, which lasted, I don't know, slightly over 1,400 days. Because Roman Reigns is, I think, at 1,203 days right now, as of today. So I have a feeling they want him to surpass at least Hulk Hogan. I don't think, I just can't see at the rate of how his appearances are. I just don't see him surpassing or becoming the longest reigning champion in history. If Roman were to be a more steady performer, at least be at the live events more frequently, I can see them wanting to potentially push him further to get closer to that number one spot. But with him only showing up periodically and only performing at premium live events, which I think is another huge issue, I think because of that, they're not going to let it go much longer. I wouldn't be surprised if they had him lose this coming WrestleMania, but I also would not be surprised if he would go over and then move on until the next WrestleMania, where by then he would have surpassed Hulk Hogan. So it's gonna be a very interesting development on how that's gonna happen. But until Roman either becomes a full part of the WWE again, which I don't think that's ever gonna happen, or the title changes hands to someone who is there consistently, who performs consistently, who doesn't only show up every once in a while. I think until then, they're they're going to make the WWE Undisputed Championship feel like it's a bigger title than the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I don't want to take away from Seth Rollins. Don't get me wrong. Seth Rollins, I think personally, I think he's amazing. I think he's a great performer. I think he was the perfect person to win that championship the very first time. To start that championship reign. I think Seth Rollins was the perfect person to do so. Now, with that being said, I also think that it's well overdue for him to lose that championship. Me personally, I would have liked to see him lose it against Shinsuke Nakamura, because I think Shinsuke, I feel like it was his time when he was challenging Seth for the title. Shinsuke has a great heel run going, um, and yeah, I feel like now is Shinsuke's time to be able to conquer that title. But however, they decided to go against that and let Seth keep the title. So be it. Now Shinsuke, unfortunately, is doing lesser things, which now he's challenging Cody Rhodes, which I think is better for him again to elevate him, because they had him do like some mid card stuff right after his World Heavyweight Championship loss. So feuding with Cody Rhodes is going to help Shinsuke get back into that upper card, main event card. So hopefully we'll see him stick to that main event level. And then of course Drew McIntyre. That poor dude, like, and you see, like, he's, because right now, if you think about it, Drew McIntyre is technically a heel, right? If you think about it, but everything he's doing, he's going through, he's saying is so realistic to the point where it's like he's not a bad guy. He's just being screwed over. So obviously, um, I'm gonna believe him and I'm gonna go with him. So everything that's going on with the way Drew McIntyre has been performing, like, I don't. Of course, it's an angle. Of course, it's part of the entertainment. However, you gotta you gotta feel for the guy, and you gotta somewhat think that everything that Drew is saying, deep down, it has to be true for him in some type of way, which I think is why this storyline for him, this character for him, is so good. And I just wish they would bring back his old theme music, because I feel like that would fit in a lot better with his current character. So that's why between him and Shinsuke, I believe Drew should have definitely won the championship between the both of them. But of course, as we all know, Seth is still champion, and it started to become a little old because, like, yeah, like, Seth is a great guy. He's unorthodox. He's weird. His entrances are very interesting. The clothes he wears, right? But at some point, it just gets old. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how he changes up his clothes. It doesn't matter how he changes up his, like, movements and how he comes out. Like, it doesn't matter, because at some point it's gonna be like, all right, like, I get it. You're kind of a weird dude, but come on, like, let's move on. So it just felt like what he was what he was bringing to the table just wasn't working anymore, as much as these new guys, or the not new guys, but as much as his challengers. So I just think that Seth going over in all these matches has kind of ruined his reputation, I would say, just a little bit. But on the other hand, now with CM Punk back in the picture, I feel like I feel like Seth just changed oh so slightly to where it's not this overbearing, overwhelming character anymore. Now it's real. Now he seems like an actual person, like a real person. How he feels about this whole situation with CM Punk. So now his character is becoming more believable and more likable for me personally. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen because obviously, obviously CM Punk is not going to be going for that title anytime soon. I have a feeling they're going to be waiting for the Royal Rumble, or excuse me, for WrestleMania for that matchup, which is going to be very interesting to see who's going to win the Royal Rumble, of course, because you got Cody Rhodes that's in the Royal Rumble now. You got CM Punk that are confirmed in the Royal Rumble. Both of them won a championship match. Only one of them can win. However, both champions still have to perform in WrestleMania. So I just like, regardless of who wins of the two, they're probably both going to get their shot at a champion or at the champion they're wanting to challenge. So it really doesn't matter who wins the Royal Rumble between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk because they're going to get their championship matches at WrestleMania. So that's just another thing that just didn't really make sense to me. Unless of course they throw in some mega surprise and like a person like LA Knight or someone like that wins the Royal Rumble. That would be very surprising. That would really surprise me. So it would definitely be very interesting to see how that unfolds. Now, I started off this show talking about returns that have happened recently. And I want to go back to AJ Styles. Now, we all know when Randy came back at Survivor Series, as soon as he came out the curtains, camera focused on him. The first thing you notice is that Randy was looking yoked. Like he looked like he was at least 20 pounds heavier in muscle mass than what he was ever prior to in his career. Like he's looking big. Fast forward to yesterday when AJ Styles returns. I got the video here as well from the WWE X account, and it's from the aftermath, of course, when AJ Styles does something surprising. So I'll let you watch the video here real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
Wait, what?
So for whatever reason, he goes and attacks LA Knight after helping them against the Bloodline. So that's going to be an interesting story there. But let's just look at this. Look at this man. What is that? What has he been doing? This dude is looking chiseled. He looks like he's at least 15 to 25 pounds heavier in muscle mass. Look at that guy. Look at his bis and tris. Like his arms look huge. You can't tell me that's the same AJ Styles we had a couple months ago. This dude is looking yoked. So I don't know what's going on. Like these wrestlers that have been out for a couple months, like maybe Randy and him were talking like, hey man, like our returns are getting close. We got to do something to look really, really big. So let's do something. Let's really get on these weights because that we did not have that before his absence. The man is yoked, okay? And AJ Styles is not the tallest guy in WWE. So when he puts on weight, you can definitely notice because he obviously doesn't have the height for it, so he'll look even stockier because he is a shorter guy. So that, like, Dude, that transition is insane. I'm like, when I saw that, I was at a loss for words. I was like, dude. I mean, between him and Randy, like, bro, those guys are looking chiseled. Make me feel bad about myself. And granted, I'm also not a wrestler. However, a little bit more mass on me wouldn't look too bad, right? So, and of course, like we just saw, AJ Styles. So he came out to help Randy and LA Knight against the Bloodline. And then, like they were talking their smack back and forth because they had the high ground. And then AJ Styles out of nowhere attacks LA Knight. So we will see what will come in the coming weeks, especially next Friday, because I'm sure LA Knight is going to come out with some questions, or AJ Styles will come out and explain what's going on in his head. So we will see what develops from this. I have a feeling this is going to be a Royal Rumble match between the two. So, which obviously leaves the question of if they have a match at Royal Rumble against each other, are they going to participate in the Royal Rumble itself? So that's going to be a very interesting development. And then of course we got all the other titles. I don't know if Gunter has a challenger yet, because I know they're working on one for Logan Paul. So we'll see. I would like Bobby Lashley to be able to challenge Logan Paul, but I don't think it's gonna work out that way. So we will see on who gets that. But more interesting story is going to be who's going to be Gunter's challenger. But yeah, let me just go back one more time. Look at this dude. Like, why? How? It just gets me. It just gets me. So yeah, so just quick recap of what I talked about today, especially the both championships. Um, like I said, I feel like WWE, the creative and the company itself, is pushing Roman and his title, like they're elevating it over every other champion, even Seth and his championship. I think they're elevating him higher because of because they make everything they make his appearances feel more special because it is more random and less. So I hope I hope that changes soon, and I hope that when Roman eventually loses the title, I hope that changes, because I just feel that Seth deserves a little bit more respect when it comes to that, because he is there consistently, not just at live shows, but also at house shows. So I feel like at the very least, show him the same type of respect and like elevate him just as high as Roman and his title. Um, Especially with the caliber of superstars he's beaten. Um, I mean, it's like I said already, like Shinsuke Nakamura, Drew McIntyre, you know, like uh, Jey Uso just last week. So like he's defending he is a fighting champion, and I feel like he should be elevated just a smidge more than he is, because they're almost making it feel like he's a mid-card champion, which it's just ridiculous in my opinion. So I like how I was saying that Seth was getting a little overbearing, and now he's cool again. It's just the way WWE is sometimes. Sometimes your superstars are just starting to annoy you, and then something new happens, and now they're cool again. Um, yeah, I mean, especially now with CM Punk back, like I feel like his his overbearing character has kind of went away to a more realistic character who doesn't like CM Punk, and I can get behind that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks, especially with the year closing out. So I'll be making a video, hopefully later this week, about my favorite WWE entrance of the year and my favorite match of the year. And I'm going to break those down, go into detail onto why I think they're amazing and why they are my favorite. So I appreciate all you guys. So I hope you tune in, and I'll see you on the next one.